It's the champ, Shannon the Cannon, two-time heavyweight champion of the world. And you're watching Sports Icons. Subscribe. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Champ.
Relax. Did you bring your balls? Remember, did you bring your balls? Get over it. Did you bring your balls? Did you bring your balls? Oh, sorry.
You've all seen the sparring footage of Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor, and of course we all have our own opinions on the footage that we've seen as to what's legitimate and what isn't, and all this kind of thing. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, he's been very, very vocal on Twitter and all this kind of thing and social media, and of course interview after interview talking about what really happened. And of course he's convinced that he pretty much beat up Conor McGregor for the first 10 rounds, and the last 2 rounds when Paulie was very tired, that's when he was getting hit with cleaner shots. But the knockdown wasn't a knockdown, that's what he's saying. But it makes it interesting because for me, I'm not too worried about the fight between Conor and Floyd Mayweather. For me, Paulie Malignaggi is making this interesting, and I think Floyd and Conor have to thank Paulie Malignaggi for a lot of the hype. Now, they clashed in Vegas. For us in the UK, it was last night, but for you guys in America, it would have been mid to late afternoon. And Conor McGregor, he's doing his usual conferences, if you like. He's been interviewed by many, many journalists. And Paulie Malignaggi just happens to pop up. And he says that he was trying to talk to his manager, trying to talk to Conor McGregor's manager and try and get them to release the footage about what happened. But Conor McGregor sees Paulie Malignaggi and goes up to him, puts his hand on his shoulder and tells him to let it go and all this kind of thing. And Paulie Malignaggi is saying, "Did you bring your balls, Conor? Did you bring your balls?" Now, what he's referring to is the fact that when Conor McGregor fought Nate Diaz for the first time, he quit. As soon as it got rough, he quit. And rather than like stay on his feet and like slug it out, where there's a risk that you may get hurt or anything, he tried to wrestle to the floor Nate Diaz. Now, Nate Diaz, is he black belt jiu-jitsu or something? I'm not hot on UFC, but I have actually seen that one fight. And of course the rematch as well, where Conor won. But the one where he lost, which was the first one, unless of course they fought before, I don't know. But as soon as he went to the floor with Nate Diaz got him into some kind of hold, and Conor McGregor tapped within seconds. There was no struggle, no trying to get out of it, he tapped. So basically he knew he was in trouble and he wasn't going to get out of it. So he made a mistake when he tried to finish Nate Diaz, but it kind of like backfired on him and he tapped straight away. So when they're having their sparring as well, this is Paulie Malignaggi, he kept saying that whenever Conor McGregor was getting in trouble or the pressure was on him, he would cheat. He would do rabbit punches, he would just do this, that and the other. So he says that when he fights Floyd, he can't do that because the referee's going to be watching it now. And Paulie Malignaggi has made life a little bit more difficult for Conor McGregor now since that footage has come out, whereas before he was quite happy to sit there and just say, yeah, you know, Conor McGregor, you know, he's good, he's getting ready, da da da. But because the footage made him look bad, him particularly, that with the knockdown and getting punched out and all this kind of thing. So Paulie Malignaggi was like, no man, that's not what happened. You have a conspiracy against me because previously Conor and Paulie Malignaggi was having this Twitter war where Paulie Malignaggi says that in a boxing ring, he would beat Conor McGregor with one hand tied behind his back. And for whatever reason, he never put 2 and 2 together. That when Paulie Malignaggi got invited to Conor McGregor's camp, that Conor McGregor may try and actually get him back. And that's exactly what he did. he used a high-profile name in Paulie Malignaggi, knowing that Paulie Malignaggi was never really going to hurt him too much because he's not a big puncher, and he never really has been ever since his early days, really. So he knew by going a few rounds he was going to hurt like a Paulie Malignaggi, or he's hit him a few times, and of course with all the cameras and that's all part of UFC, Dana White and Conor McGregor and this, that and the other. They were going to cut together some kind of clips to make it look like Conor McGregor beat the crap out of Paulie, and Paulie weren't having it. And if you watch the footage, if you're watching in slow-mo and this, that and the other, you can see that Conor McGregor did not put Paulie Malignaggi down with a punch. He actually missed with a couple of punches, and as Paulie Malignaggi was bending down, you could see Conor with his glove on the back of Paulie Malignaggi's head or his neck, which kind of like knocked him off balance. Now, Paulie Malignaggi has been saying that whenever the pressure is on, then Conor McGregor resorts to dirty tactics like rabbit punches, and he can't grab hold and not do something. He'll punch on the arm and wear himself out, and he'll do some kind of dirty tricks. Now, because Paulie Malignaggi has been saying about all this, the referee on the night is going to be very, very watchful for what Conor McGregor does in the clinches, and any kind of dirty punches, he could well get penalised. And Paulie seems to think or believe that Conor McGregor is going to quit. Not necessarily like quit on his stool or take a knee or anything like that, but he's going to get himself disqualified with the intent of saying, well, I didn't quit. I got disqualified and it wasn't right. I was just fighting. I was doing what I did. But now Paulie Malignaggi has come out and said this, it makes it quite difficult for Conor McGregor to cheat. So when the pressure is on, he can't do something to get disqualified or points dropped, and he can't complain about losing the fight, because now Paulie has brought it to the referee's attention and to the world's attention, that everybody's going to be watching, that should he try to, or if the pressure is on, how will Conor McGregor react? Which is, he will try some kind of, hold within the clinch, and he will do a rabbit punch, and he will do these little things that isn't allowed in the boxing ring. And that will be his way of getting disqualified without quitting. But technically it's still quitting, because he wanted out of there. So he did what he could to get disqualified without taking a knee, or without getting knocked out, or without having to absorb more punishment and then complain about the fight after. So now Conor can't do that. So Paulie has essentially maybe screwed up his game plan. Now Paulie said that when they were sparring as well, that he wasn't learning anything. Conor McGregor's team was all around him saying, yeah, you're doing that good, you're looking good, champ, and you're doing this and you're doing that, that's brilliant. Yeah, Floyd's going to have big problems with you, da da da. But Paulie's like, no, he's not. You're not learning. You spent your time trying to screw me over, rather than learning, rather than using my knowledge, rather than adapting. So, yeah, Floyd Mayweather, of course, he's now allowed 8-ounce gloves. He's allowed to change a referee. He's allowed a international judge as well. So it'll be interesting now as to what happens in the fight between Conor and Floyd, as to whether or not Floyd will engage with Conor McGregor. Will Conor McGregor lash out? Will he do some kind of dirty tactics? Because when the pressure is on, will he get himself disqualified in order to quit? That was his way out. And that's why Paulie Malignaggi, when he confronted Conor, was saying, did you bring your balls? In other words, don't quit. We know what you're going to do. So if that was any part of his game plan, for if the going did get rough and Conor McGregor was like, you know what, I've had enough here. I'm going to give him some kind of like little arm bar or kind of thing, some kind of UFC hold, MMA hold even. But now he can't. And Paulie Malignaggi, like I said, he's just potentially screwed up Conor McGregor's game plan. Now Floyd was always going to win in the sense of one-on-one punching, because he's been doing it all his life. Obviously Conor, he relies on kicks, on knees and wrestling moves and all these kind of martial arts kind of things to help him win a fight and of course get out of certain situations at times as well. But in a boxing ring, there's not too much you can do. And if you're in a clinch, you've got to be able to release body shots rather than just hit the arms, because when you hit the arms, it's not doing anything. All you're doing is tiring yourself out at some point. So, according to Paulie, Conor hasn't been doing any of this. So, he believes that Conor is going to pretty much walk through him. He says Conor's got no power at all. And we all know that Paulie Malignaggi has been dropped and stopped on a couple of occasions. And if Conor was struggling with this against Paulie, then what's he going to do against Floyd? So the only way this fight is really going to be interesting now is if Floyd allows it to be. So that's kind of what's going on at the minute. Like I said, the whole fight, the whole build-up is interesting for me because of Paulie Malignaggi, as it is for a lot of you guys too. So I like all the interviews, I like the hype, and yeah. So Saturday night, Conor McGregor takes on Floyd Mayweather. Will it be 50-0 or will it be 49-1? Like the video, drop a comment and subscribe.